Well, it all started with 4 of these neglected in the backyard and not wanting to plant anything because we didn't want to use water. So then we thought, well, let's get some of this and some of this and we'll see what can happen. So first we clean the big old planters there in soap and water, and then again with Dixie Belle White Lightning to get it good and clean. The base white coat is bare exterior paint and primer, and so is the red there that was touched up, and now we're using Dixie Belle stencils to put a little Christmas decor on with some more bare external paints. It's all pretty straightforward enough, just paint some red and then paint some green, but the trick there was that the shape of the pot was sort of funky, and getting the stencil on so that there wasn't a lot of gaps was tricky. So I did like the little, tap, tap, tap thing going on, and I was sort of like channeling, like from Happy Gilmore, tap, 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 tap the ball, tap, so I was like tap, tap the brush. And so you concentrate that way, you kind of like think happy thoughts, and it came out okay. It didn't drip or nothing, and we got them decorated. Here's a glam shot of the stenciling with my Nikon once we got one finished, with still one more to go. And the little snowflakes thing were also the same stencil from Dixie Belle. So to get this tree shape, I just went online and just kind of searched a bunch of different images and then just blew it up really big on my printer. And it just kind of like, you set the size in the print, and then it prints out actually in a bunch of pages, and you just got to tape it all together and trace around on your board, and then you're good to start your sawing. At the time of editing, I do still have 10 fingers. And this saw was from 2006, but this jigsaw still got it done, and it is a lot of shaky. So a little sanding just to get rid of all the like kind of rough burr type stuff from the jigsaw, and also to sort of round the edges of that plywood. It kind of made for a nicer, more 3D type of shape as opposed to flat. So this board really did drink out the paint, and this is the first of 2 coats on both sides. So more efforts to get the 3D vibe. We decided to make the ornaments out of wood pieces too, and these are just scraps from the original boards for the trees. See, now the greatest thing about these being trees for the yard is that no one will really see them real close up, so I can get away with my horrible painting skills here, and I sort of cheated using markers. But whatever, you do what you can do. So for the ornaments, I did the same thing as with the tree. I just went online and found a shape that I thought I could deal with, and went ahead and did a quick trace on the scraps, and then took it over to the scroll saw rather than the jigsaw since it was smaller, and that was nice because it was a little easier to work with than the jigsaw. spent a little bit more time sanding on the little pieces more than the big tree piece, just because all the kind of more sharper edges and smaller places to get into, even with the smaller blade. But not too much longer, and there was only 16 ornaments in total, and some of them really didn't need that much. These guys were kind of tricky with the little lips there, so... Painting stockings is much easier than painting candy canes and snowmen, that's for sure. For the little round ornaments, I ended up using a little star shape that I got with the Dixie Belle stencils instead of trying to do the tree or anything like that. That worked out pretty nice. So once I had all my little ornaments painted and dried, I placed them all on both trees as I wanted. And then we have that rope there that we picked up from Home Depot. It was only like $10, something like that, for a ton of it. So I thought it made a cool little like fake wrap tree thing. And then the lighter color on there is just sort of dry brush on top of the two coats of the green. So I had to spend a little time on a good stand because in the desert there is pretty good wind, and to give the support for this very light plywood. So did a little twofold thing. We had to measure first the length of the tree and then also add in the length of the little bucket thing there and put that together to get the right size. Yeah, that's real time there. I just saw it that fast. So I kind of had to measure piece by piece to make sure that that base there fit in snugly, given the curve of the pot and all of that. So got them measured in by putting them, then gave them a good paint. Got them screwed together in like a real backward sort of way, but they did go in. 2 screws on each side. And then we put little tiny screws to hook the tree into the stand. So it's mostly balanced when we drop it in and then give it a good like kind of push down into the base of the pot, but still there is the wind to contend with. So for a little extra stability, I put in smaller pieces, and there's sort of a lip in the inner rim of that pot. So I have the stick there kind of sitting in that, on that lip, on that ridge, and then fastened into the stand, and then the opposite direction of the other wood. So hopefully it'll make it really stable within the pot. And then ideally, once these are placed in the yard where we want them, I also have some sandbags. So for now, we'll just put the sandbags in the pot, but then once we get it where we want it, we'll go ahead and fill up sandbags with, I don't know, like maybe 5 or 10 pounds of sand or dirt or whatever, put them in the base of the pot, and hopefully that will keep us secure from anybody who wants to either walk off with them or if wind rears its ugly head and tries to take away our little Christmas trees. And then a quick little cloth cover, and I'll put that in more securely as well once it's placed in the yard where we want it to be.